All right, here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk. Today it is September 19th, and I'm coming to you from a green room in Louisville, Kentucky, out on the Marcus King Tour, about to roll into Toronto. And I want to thank everybody that's come out to the shows. It's been a wild run so far, 7 shows down. About 28 more to go or something like that. All the tour dates are on deandelray.com. Fantastic guest today. I have the one and only Jim Florentine coming to the show in a few minutes here. And he has a brand new prank call record out. And it's number 1 on fucking iTunes. How cool is that? So go grab that right away. Let me get the name of it for you here because, I want to make sure that you guys go listen to it. Jim Florentine, great old friend of mine, and just a solid human, man. I mean, a solid human. So the record is called, God damn it, where is it? Jim Florentine. I should have my shit together, but I'm trying to get this intro squeezed in before the dressing room becomes packed with rock and rollers. Here it is, Jim Florentine's Terrorizing Telemarketers, number 7. And it also has Don Jamieson on it, and it's number 1 on iTunes. So check that out, and check out his tour dates, and also check out my past episodes with Jim Florentine. Just a solid rock and roller. And this is a great episode. We talk all kinds of stuff. We even talk a little fucking baseball, which is rare here on Let There Be Talk. This episode is brought to you by my incredible sponsor. If you love clothing, you're going to want to go to standardandstrange.com or their stores in New York and Oakland. Standard and Strange is where I get all my denim, my leather, my boots. I go to Standard and Strange. Their selection is mind-boggling. I posted up some of their leather selection. All of the greatest leather brands like Y2 and the Real McCoys, Buco, all of that stuff, and John Lofgren boots galore, just everything. Standard and Strange. Check them out on Instagram. Tell them I sent you. If you go into the store, drop my name, and they're going to, they'll hook you up, and they're just solid fucking people. Incredible selection of denim. Also, if you got a dog, Migos dog food. MigosDog.com is where you're going to want to go to get all of your healthy dog food. That's all I give Gertie. And it is 100% all just primo, ingredients. No cardboard. Migos Dog. I'm telling you. This is it right here. The website is migosdog.com. I feed Gertie the salmon food, and it's available all over California. And I highly recommend it. And they also have like toppers to put on to your dry food. But watch out for what you feed your dog. You love your dog. You want your dog around a long time. I couldn't imagine Gertie being gone, especially like too soon in life because I gave her some kind of shit food. So, Migos Dog, thank you. I cannot thank all of you for the kind words that have been coming out to the gigs. The gigs have been really, it's a tough challenge. I've been finding a way to get through it. It's been fun, and I love the insanity of it. It's, you're doing comedy in between rock bands. Each night, I just try to figure it out, and I have fun with it. And I can see some people smiling out there. I've been running into a lot of you out there, you fans of the podcast, and it's been great to see you. If you want to support me and get more Let There Be Talks, I have a ton of bonus episodes on my Patreon. Patreon.com/Dean Del Rey, and it greatly helps. And I know it's fucking crazy out there, inflation, and everybody is broke, but anything that you can throw my way is great, and you can enjoy over 130 bonus episodes, including later today there will be one up where I'm diving more into the Marcus King tour. We have been out here now for about 10 days and 7 shows off of the list. So thank you, Jim Florentine, for doing the podcast. Big love for you. And thank you, everybody. Enjoy the show today. And have a great week. Stay healthy. Keep rocking. Candles are lit for Mr. Jim Florentine. All right, here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk. A return guest, a metal friend of mine, a good friend of mine, and comedian, Jim Florentine. What up, bud?
Damn, I haven't seen you in almost 3 years.
It really? Has it been that long?
Well, since before the pandemic.
I didn't see you before that?
Maybe it's a few months before that was about it. You had that little place in New York. You had that little loft. I stayed upstairs.
There.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Saved me like $200 on a room. Thank you.
Yeah. It's funny because I subleased that place right before COVID to a guy, and then went back to LA, and then was just trapped, couldn't come back, because COVID hit.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" After like 6 months, I was like, "Well, I guess it's yours." And then he had the people cut the ladder out, and no more loft. He just made that storage. He ruined it.
Oh, the loft was great.
It was incredible. He just made it storage.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, the place was small, but it was perfect for New York.
Oh, perfect.
That's all you needed.
Oh, especially if a comic came to visit in LA, or from LA, they could stay in the loft.
Yep.
Like, you don't have that in New York,
Not at all. No, it was great, though.
Yeah, the only thing was, I remember when I got it, they go, "It's a 5th floor walk-up." I go, "I don't care." Had no idea. By the 3rd month, you're like, "Fuck this." Because you're coming home from the road burnt, and you got your bag, your luggage, and you're going up 5 flights.
Yeah, those old school New York apartments. Jameson used to live on a 6th floor walk up, too. I used to dread going to his place. I'm like, oh, my God, I go up these 6 floors. I'm sucking wind by the time I get to the top.
Oh, totally.
And then you never want to go back down just for like something to go get something out of your car or something like that, because then you got to walk back up.
Yeah, like anything. Toilet paper, you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'll just hit the shower.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. It was a weird pandemic, man. What did you do during the pandemic for like income and shit?
Nothing. I mean, just some royalty checks coming in from movies and TV shows, and also the comedy tracks and stuff. But I didn't. It was tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I always had just a little coming. I got some real estate investments from my brother, so I was okay. But yeah, it was a tough time, and that's why I think it was June 2020. I called Don Jameson up. I said, "Dude, you want to do another one of these prank call albums?
Yeah.
To mess with telemarketers?" And I remember him going, He goes, don't you think people are beat up enough? I go, but Don, they're telemarketers.
Yeah.
He goes, you know what, you're right. And that's when we started doing it, because there was nothing else going on. So he'd come to my house, and I would hook my home phone back up, and just started ringing like crazy, and we just sit there and mess with them until we put out an album.
It's funny because now when we get calls, it's like scam likely, it'll say on your phone.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, who the fuck is falling for this shit? And it's got to just be old people. That's all it is to it. Like all these people that fish, on your emails, you can just tell right away when you click the email, it's like yabba dabba do and ba.com. It's like Wells Fargo, you need to reset your password, and people just fall for it. And
yeah, I think like if they can get like 1 out of 200, out of 200 will believe it or pick up the phone, and it might be some unbelievable offer. It's a numbers game to them.
Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah. But the telemarketers, like I didn't do it over the cell phone because the audio's not going to be that good.
Right.
So I wanted a house phone. I did one like 7 years ago, a telemarketer one, and then as soon as I was done, I just disconnected the phone because I'm like, I don't need to call my phone. No one knows my home number anyway. I plugged it back in 7 years later. I had the same exact companies calling me 7 years later. The local gutter company, the mortgage guy, the real estate guy. So they must have just been ringing and ringing for years, and then finally I started picking up again.
That is insane, man. So Dawn would come over. Did you have 2 phones and you guys were both on one on the other?
Yep, 2 phones. Yeah, I hooked up 2 phones.
Yeah.
With and then we just kind of just riff and see what was going. We just have a general idea, and we just I mean, it's just nice that I'm still childish and mature. I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
Both of us, and we're still making prank calls. My 12-year-old son walked by one time. He goes, "You guys are so childish." I'm like, "Yes, that's fucking perfect coming from a 12-year-old."
Now, what are you using? Like the old? I used to use the phone answering machine to record them.
Yeah.
What are you using to record them?
I used to use a Radio Shack. They had with an old school cassette.
Oh yeah, right.
Up till the last one I did, and this time the guy helping us to produce, like, you gotta use something better. You can't be using a cassette anymore.
Yeah.
So we use some other little thing you just hook right up to the phone. It's little, and you got a little chip in there, and then you can upload them and stuff like that. So the audio's real clear.
Now, how many calls do you take before you start to get gold? Do you have to do it like a couple months and they go, okay, we got like 10 tracks finally?
It depends. They got to play. If they're not playing along on the other end, it's there to start a call.
Yeah.
If we can't get under their skin or they're just not giving us anything, it doesn't work. When there's tension and they're getting frustrated, those are the best calls. So you just never know. Sometimes you get it the first call. Other times you got to do it 20 times till you get your idea right. Till someone plays along.
Yeah, man. I think that shit never really gets old, I mean, of course, we're at that age where the Jerky Boys were great. And you and I had talked about that before. Jerky Boys. There was Neil Hamburger that did that one. I play bass licks on your grave. That guy, he would call looking for bass players.
Yeah.
And then I told you before, I did prank call where I just called people in the middle of the night that were selling shit. I'm calling about the fishing rod.
Right.
It's 3 a.m. That's when you fish, dude. Right. You get out there, or the Corvette, calling about the Corvette. And some people are so desperate, they just stay on the phone because they want to sell shit, Well,
that's the thing with I got a big advantage with the telemarketers. They just had 10 people in a row going, F you, don't ever call here again, lose my number. And then finally they get me, and they're like, oh, man, this guy's staying on the line, even though he's acting weird and there's some strange shit going on. Maybe I got a sale, so they'll stay with me. As long as I don't curse or tell them I don't want the product, they have to stay on because they usually have a supervisor listening in, so they don't want to lose the sale, the possible sale. And I don't curse. There's no cursing on the record, which is great. And
then do you get played on Sirius XM?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Clean Channel?
Yeah, they're on the Clean Channel.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah. So they're on the Clean Channel, and so kids can listen to this stuff, and it's all timeless. There's nothing they're not dated at all. It's just regular prank calls.
Now, what companies? Let's go through them. So one was a gutter company.
A lot of mortgages. They're always trying to refinance.
Yeah, always.
And car insurance. There's a lot of one, I can give you a deal on better car insurance. Get a lot of them.
What do you hit them with? I got 8 DUIs, man. Drunk drivers. Can you help me?
I'm trying to remember what I did. Well, the one woman was calling about the car insurance. She goes, yeah, you must have met with one of our salesmen. You remember who it was? And as soon as I heard that, I go, yeah. I go, he had brown hair.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. I go, yeah. And he was wearing like an Ozzy Osbourne T-shirt. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't know who that is. I go, no. I go, and then I just keep going on. And whenever she's trying to move on, I go, well, you told me you want to know which salesman it was. I'm just trying to tell you.
He's got Jordan 1s. He wears Jordan 1s.
Yeah. I go,
he's got like a strange cologne.
Oh, it was the same. But yeah, it was like he's got, he was wearing sneakers. I think they were white.
Yeah.
He pulled up in a Honda Accord. He had a Miami Dolphins bumper sticker in the back.
Yeah,
you know who it is?
The whole thing.
Oh, yeah. She's like, I don't know who it is. I'm like, okay, I just want to give that guy credit.
Yeah.
So she never got past that the whole time.
Yeah, and then is Don jumping in?
On some of them, there's some solo tracks that I do, and then Don's on the other end. Yeah, it's always like, hey, I got my friend. Can I put him on the phone because he knows how to, refinance a mortgage or real estate, buy some property. He's a pro at this. So I'll to put him on, and then it's just pure chaos.
Now, is it out now?
Yeah, it just came out. It came out today. It's number one comedy album on iTunes.
Oh, wow.
On Amazon, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, just that we're in our 50s and still doing this shit. It's beautiful.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, as a metalhead, you just don't grow up. You still like the same bands you liked. I tell my kid, I go, look, if you like metal now, you're going to like them. You're going to like it the rest of your life. You might fall out for a few years, but you're always going to be back in on metal. Yeah. And metalheads, we're just, we got a silly sense of humor. We don't take ourselves too seriously. And, so I think it fits in perfect with that genre.
Yeah, man. That shit is, like I said, always funny. It's a little bit like Magic or a stand-up record, though. Once you hear it, you know the jokes, but then you start turning your friends onto it. That's what happened to me with like Jerky Boys. And then after a while, you just start doing it like Cobra, my eye, just out of nowhere when you're being dumb, like on an airplane and your buddy's 2 seats over. Cobra, my eye.
Oh yeah, it's always like inside jokes. Yeah, mine are some of the calls that they've been playing on Sirius or whatever. People know them for years, and Howard Stern playing them.
Yeah.
So they always just take quotes from these calls.
That's great.
Yeah.
I saw a great tweet that you did or Instagram or something. He said, this puppet bought me a house, and now my kid thinks he doesn't have to go to college. But
it was a special ed puppet from Crankakers.
Right. But the thing I think about in this business is it could just be one thing one day, and all of a sudden your whole life can change. Isn't that crazy in the world of stand-up or music,
It's insane, man, because I was just doing this. I put a telemarketer CD out. I was going nowhere or whatever. And I put it out myself, financed it. I got them at a local place. I was like, maybe I'll sell a few after a show. And I was doing that character where he was just going, yay, yay, just being stupid. And next thing I know, Howard Stern, I mail in the Howard Stern. He starts playing it. He's like, who is this guy? This guy's amazing. I go in the studio. He's having me in like once or twice a week, whatever it was at the time. And then Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla hear it. 3 months later, they're making a prank phone call show.
Man.
They never had a prank phone call show ever in the history. And they heard my stuff. They were fans. They go, hey, who is this guy? We want him on our show. And my career just takes off just like that from some stupid idea.
Yeah, that's wild,
yeah.
Right?
And because I knew, like, I wasn't... my stuff was a little more edgy, my comedy and dirty, so I knew I wasn't going to go the Letterman, the Tonight Show route with my stand-up. I knew, so I had to find a different avenue for it, something. And Stern took a liking to me. Stern back in the day, in the early 2000s, was like the Johnny Carson of comedy. Like, if he kinged you, said you were funny, you would sell out everywhere, which is great.
Yeah, it's like Rogan now.
Yeah, it was like Rogan, exactly.
Yeah, it's wild how... the power of that also of like, say, a Rogan now where he just has you on, you drop your own special on YouTube, you get a couple million views, and then you can go out and sell some tickets, Yep.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Stern would go, Jim's going to be at the Funny Bone in Pittsburgh this weekend. I'd sell out 5 shows.
Yeah, it's an interesting game right now because me playing music most of my life and seeing... eventually just music became free. There is this scary thing to me, and I thought about it last night. I was laying here in bed. I was like, well, yeah, if you have a Rogan that says, yeah, check this special out, and you get a couple million views, cool. But if you don't, and you just have, like, a couple of my friends release specials on YouTube, and they got, 3,000 views, now your material's burned up, and now we're starting, I think, to get into this slippery slope of from music to comedy now, like, well, it's just free, man. We should be getting your shit free. It's scary to me, because, look, I'm not trying to get rich, but I'm just trying, I'm trying to figure out how to navigate the waters of a career to, be able to survive.
Yeah, no, it is. I put a comedy special out probably like 5 months ago. I put it on YouTube for 2 months for free.
Yeah.
And then I took it off, and now it's behind a paywall.
Right.
You can rent it or buy it. Because I was like, I'll give it away for a couple months, let people see it, and then now it's back where, there's definitely less eyes on it. You never know. Like, you could put that up, and it could get 7 million views in 2 weeks.
Right.
You just don't know if it's going to get in that algorithm.
Right.
Somebody or your friends promote it, and it just catches fire. Or just, I don't know. I probably had under 100,000 views, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to put it behind a paywall like the rest of mine.
Right. Yeah. It is. I think in this day and era, you have to just have all kinds of irons in the fire, or you're just going to go down in flames. You got to have your material all over the place: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You got to, be doing whatever you can to get it out there, or else it just seems to. You just can't get any traction.
No, I know. It's tough. Sometimes, when you're working on a new set and you're going to record an album, you don't want that stuff out there yet.
Right.
So you don't want to put clips. A lot of comics have put clips. I'm like, no, I'm not putting any clips out until the next album's ready. And I just put one out, so I got a long time. But I'm not doing anything. I'm not putting any new material out there because you want to save it for that. So
yeah,
no, it's a tough thing, But then I got a guy running my TikTok channel. I've never even logged in the account. I pay him every month. He cuts up stuff and he just puts it. He goes, dude, you're doing great on there. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
He goes, get in there and in the comments if you fight with people, their algorithm. I go, I'm too old for that. I don't give a fuck.
He wants you to fight with people.
Yeah, because he says, this guy sucks, and then you fight with him, and then all of a sudden it catches a whole other catches fire. I go, I'm not fighting with a 20-year-old that doesn't get my humor. I don't give a shit. I never did. I go, I'm never logging in. So it's and then I do Instagram Reels. It seems like it's doing okay. Who the fuck knows? You don't know.
Yeah, I put some Reels up a couple weeks ago, and they got around 35,000 each, which is cool. You know. And then, like I said, you never know. It could be one. All of a sudden, it's 2 million. You're like, what the fuck? So you just don't know. It's total fishing. That's what it is, man.
It totally is. There's always that one guy that, like Andrew Schultz, who's the first comic to cut up his clips and then put his special on YouTube for free. And I remember him doing a podcast with him when he was telling me he was going to do it. I go, why are you doing that? You giving it away for free? I go, he's like, that's how people are going to see it. And it worked. Yeah. And then everybody else tried to start doing that too. It's not going to work for everybody.
Right.
Everyone thinks, okay, this is the model now. And then they all do it and people don't care.
Yeah.
It's like the podcasting world. Everyone wants to start a podcast, but it's like everyone's not going to make money.
Yeah, I know. I love that one. Where they're like, well, I'm going to start a podcast. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? And they go, well, I'm just going to interview people. I'm like, oh, all right. Like I've been doing this 11 years.
Yep. Same with me. I'm doing mine 11 years.
Yeah, so, and you just fucking, they quit after 4 months because they didn't make any money. They
didn't make any money. You got to hang in there. You got to keep doing it. I do a Patreon, so I do well on my Patreon and all that stuff. So, yeah, you figure it out. But I just basically want to work from my home. Like, I don't want to work for any corporations. If I can get to the point where I don't have to worry about getting canceled if I say something wrong or a joke, they take it the wrong way. I'm at the point where I'm almost self-sufficient where I'm out of that I don't want to worry about that stuff.
Yeah. You and I were talking about it. Like, you get to this thing to where you're self-made,
One good thing is there's rarely any morning radio to do anymore in these towns. That would kill you.
Yeah.
Because you'd be doing like 2 or 3 in the morning. Then in the afternoon, you have to go back out in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 shows that Friday, 2 Saturday. You're exhausted, man.
Oh, God.
So rarely you have that anymore. They're just like, nah, we just take out a Facebook ad or whatever. We got our Instagram and that's it.
Plus, my podcast is bigger than their, more, not maybe bigger than their radio, but it's more focused to, you know what I'm saying? Like, my crowd. Because, rarely do they give you enough time to show you your personality on there. There's rare radio like in Denver. It's great. Rick Lewis. Oh, he'll have you on for an hour. Yesterday I was on Bennington for an hour.
Yep.
That's where that's the old school. You get to learn who the guy is. They go, oh, this guy was fucking funny. But when you're doing 5 minutes and you're hoping the guy just happened to have the radio on at that time, in the morning.
No, I know, and they're all wired, and you're all like exhausted because you get in Thursday, you go do a show Thursday night, then you have to be, meet the comedy manager in the hotel lobby at 6:10 a.m. I'm picking you up. I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. You don't get back to your hotel room till like 10.
Yeah, you're so upside down.
Picking you back up at 1:30 to do afternoon sports radio. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, the sports radio is the worst for me.
Yeah, see, I know the sport, so I could do that. Yeah, I know. I can wing. I know, like in that town, I could pick that one team.
Yeah. I used to just be in there and be like, no one cares about the team.
Right.
I just rip on it or whatever. It's funny because to me, I look at like politics now as the same as like sporting events. It's like, nobody cares what team it is. It's gotten down to this thing, my team, and it's like, well, that guy can just play for another team when they pay him more money. It's like the same thing with corporations. Well, that corporation's going to give him more money, so he'll just go over there and whatever their beliefs are, he's on that.
Of course, absolutely.
Exactly.
I call it the Hollywood playbook. It's like whatever Hollywood is, then you got to, okay, I'm going to align with this.
Yeah.
So, okay, if someone else is tweeting this, someone big in Hollywood, then I'll tweet something similar. I'll take the same side, so maybe if they ever go to my Twitter feed and might want to hire me for a role, like, okay, he's one of us, and then they hire you. It's really fucking sad is what it is.
Well, every the sad world is it's like everybody's like an armchair warrior for about 3 minutes. Fuck this guy. And then
Yeah, but meanwhile, most comics don't know anything about politics. They never even cared until 2016. I never heard anyone like having discussions backstage about who was in office, and all of a sudden, like everyone cared. They don't. I remember one comic posting about the post office. Please support the post office, whatever. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
you know about your pussy. You don't know about the post office.
Remember when we were growing up, there would be like one political comic. Like one guy, he'd be an older dude, and you'd go like, oh, that guy's like a political comic. Yeah,
I don't even bother with that shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't talk about it. I don't care what political side you're on. It doesn't matter. That's like I always saw this summer. I went and saw Rage Against the Machine, and I saw Ted Nugent and Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Two on the complete end. And I've always loved Rage Against the Machine. I don't care what they say, whatever the message they have. Okay, that's fine. That's your whatever. I don't care what Ted's saying or Kid Rock. I don't care. I just like the music.
Yeah.
I've never cared about that.
Man, I love me some Rage,
Oh, I saw him 2 nights at the Garden.
Oh, fuck.
Phenomenal.
God, I wanted to go to that, and it was just like, I'm fucking in the middle of this tour, and it was like, I was in New York, then I flew home, and I go, oh, am I going to go back for like 2 days? Like, I got, I got to lay down for a minute.
Yeah.
I'll see it, though.
I saw him back in the day a bunch of times, which is great. But I took my kid. My son's 12, and he's a big Rage fan. He knew, like, most of the set list. At the end, he was almost crying. He goes, Dad, that was the best concert I've ever seen in my life.
Nothing touches that.
And he's been to 25 of them, at least. And he was like, that was the best thing I've ever seen.
That band truly is, to me, one of the top 5 of all time as far as live. Nothing comes close to it, It's like seeing AC/DC. From like 78 to 83,
Right.
Just like, what the fuck? Just power the whole time. The whole time.
Yeah, and Zach, the lead singer, had a broken foot or whatever he had, so he was sitting down doing it. But it actually, he sounded better. I saw Guns on their first show back, not the club show they did where Axl broke his foot, but in Vegas when he was in the Throne.
Oh, yeah.
He sounded amazing because he wasn't running around.
Yeah.
So Zach sounded even better because I saw him before he broke his foot. He was a little winded, I thought, in some of the clips.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want him still running around, the energy and stuff, but it still worked with him sitting. He was still going crazy, just sitting on a box.
Man, he is the definition of mystique. Like, he is the career that I could have. Zero social media. Zero. We don't know what he eats. We don't know when he shits. We don't know who he dates. We don't know anything about this guy ever. Until he does a Rage show. You're like, he could have walked on stage and been like 250 pounds for all we know because we hadn't seen him in fucking 12 years.
It's unbelievable. He would just disappear. Like, I know like Rage would have, once a year, would have a business meeting, would have to get together when they weren't doing, and he would just show up and they would say they would see him like a year later.
That's crazy.
He had just an email and then whatever and like that. My friend Chad, who's a comic, was in LA. He saw him working out in the Valley at like a Planet Fitness.
Whoa.
With a trainer. This was like 5 years ago. He goes, Zach?
Yeah.
And he went over him. He's like, he went outside. He followed him outside. He goes, hey, Zach? He's like, yeah, man, what's up? He's like, holy shit, man. He goes, yeah, I'm just working out, whatever. And he got a picture with him and stuff. But he just no one knew who he was, hanging with a trainer and just working with a trainer. This was like 5 years ago. Like, wow, that's like seeing just a Bigfoot sighting.
That's like seeing Alex Van Halen.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Never met him. Never even been in the same room with him.
Ever.
Never.
And you're another guy, see? You and I have been around the rock scene our entire lives. Never met Alex, never seen him at a restaurant, never seen him at a record store. I've never seen him backstage at another concert, ever. That guy is a complete ghost.
Even Eddie Van Halen, I only met once when he was at Dimebag's funeral.
Yeah.
He came in for Dimebag's funeral. I was there. That's the only time I ever was in the same room with him either.
Yeah.
Those guys would just disappear, do no press, do nothing for years, and then just pop up.
That's kind of the dream, right?
I think so, but I would get bored after like 4 or 5 years of just being around. I mean, just not doing anything. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think they're doing shit, but they just don't show us.
That's true. They're always working on music and stuff, I guess, yeah.
Because I know Eddie Van Halen. I met him at the Heaven and Hell, one of the last Heaven and Hell shows at the Greek. But I know he was a heavy motorcycle guy, and car guy. So he was out and about, but it just wasn't like, there's some guys you just see all the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's such and such,
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
I was thinking before we were talking about getting canceled, I wanted to know your opinion on this because, Metallica Master of Puppets song was in that Stranger Things show.
Oh, yeah.
And then supposedly there was like this backlash that Metallica should get canceled because some of these fucking millennials went back in their past about some of the shit they did. I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But they were like trying to cancel my ticket. Get the fuck out of here. I just saw them in Pittsburgh, fucking 60,000 people.
Oh.
I've been seeing Metallica since 1983.
Yeah.
In a club in New Jersey when they were on Megaforce Record, and they're still just as good.
Oh, unbelievable.
Still just as good.
Unbelievable. Fucking Metallica is, when you, like you just said though, when you build it yourself, they can't take shit away from it. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe they don't have them on another episode of Stranger Things. Guess what? The record went #1. All right, we're good. We've got that promo. We move on.
I never saw them close with Master of Puppets, and they did when I saw them at Pittsburgh last month.
Oh, man. I opened for them this year.
Oh, that was at
their 40-year
Oh, yeah, you did that
anniversaries.
at the Warfield?
No, at the Chase Arena.
Oh, it was the arena?
Yeah,
Oh,
2 nights, man. It was fucking.
man.
That was fucking wild. What an honor, Also, it was the most nerve-wracking gig ever because I'm like, fuck, these guys are my favorite. I've known these guys all my life. I don't want to fuck this up, So it was like really brutal stress.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because you know what, like. Look, whatever happens. If it wasn't Metallica, you just go, the gigs didn't go good or whatever, and you move on. But if it doesn't go good and they're like, fuck, we had Dean, it was sucked, So the second night was great,
Yeah, no, I did. I opened for them at Orion Fest. They did it in Atlantic City one year.
Oh, yeah.
Where they did the Black Album from beginning to end. And next night they did Ride the Lightning from beginning to end.
Yeah.
It was fun. The Black Album, they started from the last song and went to the first song. Because Enter Sandman's the first song. So,
Right.
okay, we're going to go. So they did it that way, but then they had a comedy stage. So, and then Lars wound up introducing me. They were going around introducing bands, and him and James were watching from the side of the stage. I was so nervous.
Oh, that sucks.
I was like,
right?
oh man.
They introduced me, and so like they come up the whole band, they introduce you. And then the crowd's like, all right. Then the band leaves, and they're like, oh, like they.
I know. Like, yeah, wow, that they're out of here. Yeah, and then they got to listen to your jokes.
Yeah, that's funny because when they did that festival, they played Escape, and James hates that song. And I don't think they ever played it because he hates it. And they had to play it because they did the Lightning record.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah, because that was kind of their so-called kind of try to be radio song,
Yep, yeah.
I don't mind it. It's funny. In the last couple months, I'm always a justice guy. That's of course, Masters is the masterpiece.
Yeah.
We already know that. That's the obvious, so I never say that.
That's the Back in Black of Metallica's category.
So when people say, what's your favorite one? I go, look, it's Justice. But over the last couple months, man, I've been so deep dived again on Ride the Lightning. It's not even funny, man. I'm just like, this is so good.
Phenomenal. What's your most underrated Metallica record? I know mine. Why I that doesn't get enough love.
Yeah, I would say you and we talked about it before. I love fucking the one everybody hates.
St. Anger?
St. Anger,
St. Anger's great, and they played a St. Anger song, Dirty Window.
Oh, Dirty Window, man.
They play
crazy.
and it goes over well with the crowd because Hetfield gets them into it.
Yeah.
The chant and stuff like that. To me, Death Magnetic is fucking great.
Well, we love that record, yeah.
But it just kind of went off the radar with Metallica fans. They were like, oh, Metallica, enough with them. I go listen to Death Magnetic when it came out.
Oh, God.
But goddamn, is that good. I like that better than Hardwired.
I like both those records. Death Magnetic is killer. And I think that's Ruben, right?
It is, yeah.
Ruben.
They recorded it really loud, and there was some sound.
Oh, that's right. They're like the snare, fucking.
Yeah, and the needles and the red.
Oh, yeah. It's all distorted. That's all they say.
I know. I remember when we had Lars on that metal show when it came out. He goes, I don't know. He goes, I put the CD in my truck. It sounds good in my truck. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
If it sounds good in your car when you're cruising. He goes, it sounds good to me. But all these radio nerds like, it's peaking in the red. Who cares?
Yeah, they've been complaining about Metallica since they came out.
Every album they
As
complain.
soon as Cliff died, they're like, they're done.
Yeah.
Then as soon as they cut their hair, they're like, they're done. And then as soon as they do the Lou Reed record, fuck these guys. It's always fuck these guys, and they're bigger and bigger and bigger.
Then the Symphony thing, the S&M,
the Symphony.
they did that. Then Load and Reload, they cut the hair.
Yeah.
That was always weird. Like the Metallica fans fans got mad that Metallica cut their hair because
Yeah,
they didn't have their hair cut. So they felt like, oh, no, I got to cut my hair. They were so
know.
mad. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah,
that they cut their
cares?
hair. Like, I'm going to be mad that they cut their hair.
I always said, what if they all four of them shaved their heads like hardcore dudes? Would they have commented on the haircuts? I don't think they would have. They've been like, whoa, these guys are gangster now.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a big thing back in the day. People, they lost some of it. Oh, I can't believe they cut their hair.
Yeah. James has been he's kind of the one of the holy grail guests I've been trying to get on. I had Kirk on, and he was fantastic.
Kirk's great. Yeah, James doesn't do that much press. He would tell us, we met him at that Orion Fest. He goes, dude, to me, Don and Eddie, he goes, dude, I love that metal show. I watch every week, but I'm not coming on.
Yeah.
He goes, let Lars and let Kirk do that shit.
Yeah.
He goes, but I'm good just watching. So don't. But it's not that I don't like the show, but I just don't. That's not for me.
Yeah. Dark dude.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I love the guy.
I know, man. That's why we got some of the greatest metal from him. You know.
He's and just the way he can command the crowd now.
Oh man.
With the sing-alongs and all that shit as a front man, it's fucking great, man.
God, they sound better than ever.
Yeah.
Now, what have you been up to? You're out on the road, right?
Yeah, I'm always out there, yeah.
Do you go every weekend, or what's going on with that?
Like 2 to 3 weekends a month.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm back home Sunday. I do like 3 days. So I'm like on the road like 9 days out of the month. The rest of the time in New York City working at the Stand, or I'll go to a local comedy club in New Jersey, Uncle Vinny's, and I went there to do guest spots, work on material. So that's my schedule. It works for me. I take 1 weekend off.
Yeah.
And just chill. So
you do Soul Jills? I'm doing that. Have you done that?
Yeah, I've done that one. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a ton of gigs on the East Coast where I live where you don't have to get on a plane, which is great.
I know. Yeah. I'd like to do like car dates because I got my dog.
Okay, yeah.
And I just bring the dog.
Oh, yeah.
I'm that guy now. Bring the dog everywhere.
Now, do you have to find a hotel where we'll let the dog in?
Nah,
or
I got
you just
the
sneak him in?
service thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, perfect, nice.
Yeah, diabetes, I just tell you.
Okay, yeah, I know. Like
I'm that guy that Joey Diaz says, like, you don't bring your dog everywhere. I'm at a restaurant, you don't have a fucking dog next to me. Fucking California. I love Joey.
I know, he's the best. He's my neighbor, man. The fucking guy's the best.
Are you going to go see his one-man show tomorrow night? I think he's doing like a one-man
No, it's like a residency. He's doing. He's going to host, and he's going to bring up some comics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I won't be there tomorrow night, but I know he's going to do it like once a month in New York. I've done a bunch of shows with him. I told him, man, I did this club with him, Uncle Vinny's, last week.
Yeah.
Did like a Wednesday, Thursday. He sells out as soon as they put the tickets on sale. I go, dude, you're ready to do a special. He goes, nah, that was nothing. The guy's murdering on stage.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, he didn't lose a beat. I mean, he didn't do it for a while. Then he finally got up and whatever. But goddamn, he's like, no, I'm not even close. I go, Joey, you are, but whatever. No, he's a great dude, man.
I miss that guy. I love him, man.
He's the fucking best, man. He's like, the whole he's like the mayor of the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
He just hangs out with regular parents all the time. They go into dinner every night. There's something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all friends of my family. He knows more about my family, my brothers and sisters than I do. He's like, your brother Bob's going to Florida. I go, I didn't even know that. He goes, you didn't know? He's checking in with him. Joey loves to check in with people.
Oh, I love that.
Loves calling up.
How
Hey,
you doing?
how you doing?
How you doing, you cocksucker?
What's the word on the street?
Yeah. They treat you all right out there?
Dude, I was coaching my son's rec basketball team.
Yeah.
I don't really know too much about basketball. They needed somebody. So Joey comes to a couple games. He goes, I'm going to come to practice. He came and ran a practice.
Yeah.
And the other parents like, holy shit, fucking Joey Diaz.
Wow.
And he's telling him about the play when you pass it in under the boards. He goes, all right, we're going to call this one your mother. He goes, as soon as you say your mother, the other team's going to start laughing and you guys are going to get wide open. The kids are dying, 11, 12-year-olds. And they're, your mother, and they're all laughing. And then at the end, he's like, okay, listen, the game's Monday. You guys need anything? What do you need? You need some cheerleaders? I'll round up some cheerleaders for you kids. So fucking great.
He's fucking great.
So great.
Well, now your kid's 12, right?
He's 12.
Now, he was playing some music young, but he's not doing that anymore, right?
No, he was doing the music. He was doing the comedy. But now he's just like, he's got a ton of friends. He just went to middle school. They're playing basketball, flag football. So I don't want to force it on him.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I always say, I go, do I really want him to have this life where he's 26 years old, he's going to be at a Holiday Inn off of some fucking exit in Michigan, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just waiting in there to do shows when all of his friends are hanging out, they're having a good time, they're kids that he grew up with. He's, so I'm like, do I want to push this lifestyle on him?
Yeah.
I don't know. So if he wants to get back into it, he will, but I'm, whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, man, it's I mean, it's just a weird world. You got to let them do their own thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's really good at it. If he does, he could definitely get back into it. But it's a tough life. It's not easy.
No.
You know, and he's got a ton of friends, and he's, they're always hanging, all that stuff, having a good time, which I love.
Yeah.
I love watching. So it's like, then all of a sudden he's gonna, every night, I got to do a set.
Yeah.
Come on, we're having a party. Sorry, I gotta work on this 10 minutes because once you're addicted. I remember when I met you, I go, Dean, fucking someone was playing in like L.A. or something.
Yeah.
I go, let's go. He's like, I can't. I got no time to waste.
Yeah.
He goes, I started this late. I can't take a night off.
Yeah, still the same way, man.
I know you. I have no time to waste.
I was just telling you, the most brutal thing about doing a rock tour is the idle time. For me, I'm having a hard time dealing with it because I usually do like 2 or 3 sets a night. And during the day, I get up, I go to the gym, I hang with the dog, walk the dog for like 3 miles, and then write some jokes, podcast. So I'm just kind of in this regiment, and then when I'm out of it, I'm kind of like this idle time starts to fucking tweak me, man.
Oh yeah. As you get older and you're set in your ways, when you're in your 20s, like you toured with bands, it don't matter. You're like whatever.
Yeah.
Wake up anywhere, it doesn't matter. But as you get older and you got a regimen, I opened for Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, and I did another tour of Megadeth, and it was fucking with me too.
Yeah.
Where I just had all this idle time. We'd pull up in the venue at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the show, I don't go on till 7:30 at night. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Because you're in some fucking town.
Yeah, you're backstage at the friggin' at some arena. It is, you don't even
have
know.
A car or
you don't have a
anything.
car. I mean, I guess you can call an Uber, but it's just like, I don't know. I guess I'll just hang out here.
Well, you start throwing money away too. All of a sudden, you're like, whoa, I thought I was going to make money, but I was so bored. I Ubered like $40 ride over here. Then I ate a $30 meal there. Then I Ubered back, and now it's $200 down.
No, I know, because there's only so much you can have that backstage lunch and dinner and a breakfast.
And I got to watch my health because of diabetes. I don't have diabetes anymore, but it could come back immediately.
Right.
And I start to get weird faded and shit, and I got to be at the gym and I got to eat clean. So it's it's an animal, man.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's and then you get off the bus in the morning and there's a shower at the venue, but there's like 17 roadies ahead of you.
Yeah.
And there's all wet towels all over and dirty socks, and you're like, and then you got to get in there.
Yeah.
And then when you got to shit too, I forget what rock star, maybe Frankie Bello from Anthrax told me, he goes, listen, when you get to the venue, go inside the venue. He goes, go all the way up top, like the nosebleed seats. Go out there and shit in the ladies' room.
Yeah.
Because no one goes in the men's room.
Yeah, it's not open yet.
It's not open yet.
Yeah.
So except for the box office or whatever. So I would just go. I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to use the same toilet that 17 roadies just did.
Man.
I know.
It starts to get like...
One time I was in the ladies' room somewhere, and 2 of the women from the box office came in. I'm like, oh shit! I had to sit there for like 20 minutes. They were talking. I'm like, I'm not saying a word.
Yeah.
I'm pulling my pants up so they don't see my hairy legs.
Yeah. They're like, this woman stinks.
I know.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's a look. I'm not complaining. And I don't want people to think I am complaining, but it's not easy, man. And I always tell people, give these artists all the money, man. Support them however you can, because it's fucking crazy out there.
And especially if you got a family back home and a wife and shit like that, and
God.
kids, and you're missing all this shit.
Yeah.
I hate when I miss stuff. With my kid, even when I have to do local gigs or whatever, I can't go to his game or whatever like that. It sucks because you want to be there for him,
Yeah.
So just these guys are out. We come back and forth. We're out for a few days. We're back home.
Right.
Usually most of the time. But these bands sometimes are on the road 6-9 months.
Crazy, man.
And you're completely gone from home. And then you get home and you have to readjust to that lifestyle, which is tough.
Oh, yeah. You step off the summer rain, and all of a sudden it's like real life.
Yeah, you got to go to the post office. Like, I got to go, what?
Yeah,
because you're basically taken care of on the road. Everything, okay, here's my schedule, here's my food.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're in prison.
Yeah.
You got to, and then when you get home, you got to, I got to go pick the kid up. I got to take the kid to karate. What the what?
It's weird too. Is I hadn't done a long tour since maybe 06. Like when I played music, touring with the Wallflowers. I did 2 weeks with Alice in Chains, but when I look at it, I go, well, that was already like 6 years ago. I was 50 then,
Right.
So it's like 50's old, Like,
I know.
But I was thinking like, well, 6 years ago. And, now here we are 6 years later, and I'm like, ooh, fuck, 34 dates. Wow. But I can't say no to work because it's tough to get work. You know?
it is. I know.
You and I were talking about it. It's like, hey, I got to take what I can take. You know?
Take what I can take, and you feel like the economy's affecting some of the clubs now. Because the first, as soon as people have to tighten, their money, they take the entertainment away. That's the first thing they stop.
Yep.
And going out to eat and stuff like that. So we feel it first. So.
And then everything going up. Flights are way more. My flights are triple.
The rent-a-cars, if you have to get a rent-a-car,
triple.
Uber, cabs, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Fucking, here we are in New York. Probably some of the best weather this week. And I was like, if it was like this all the time, it would be $1 billion to live here. No one could live in Manhattan if the weather was like this.
Right now, I think it's like $4,500 for a studio.
Yeah.
In Manhattan.
I just read, it's so funny, I read that in the entire world, New York has the most millionaires. They say 1 in 3. And I go, well, I rode the subway all week. I'm looking at people, and I'm like, which one of these guys?
Right.
The third guy down's a millionaire? Like 1 in 3. Dude, I'm looking around like, what? Who?
Yeah, no, I don't buy that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are moving out because of the taxes and all that shit. And,
right,
so.
How's Jersey on the tax?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as New York, but it's right up there.
Yeah. Would you ever move somewhere else?
I can't move until my kid's out of school because I want him to be in the same schools.
Of course.
Be around his friends, that he grew up with and stuff like that. My parents moved. We were between like sophomore and junior year to Florida.
Yeah.
So I had all my childhood friends. My dad wanted to open some catering company or whatever. We moved down there. I didn't know anyone. I got put in this private Catholic school down there. It was a clique. They were all rich kids that drive daddy. I had a Volkswagen. I had Ozzy Osbourne bumper stickers. I had long hair. I had Judas Priest written on my notebook. They're like, who is this weirdo? I came in a month into school year, junior year. Yeah. I had no friends for 2 years. It was fucking horrible.
It's like when I started comedy. 44, walking into the comedy store. They're like, who's this weirdo? I got an Ozzy Osbourne shirt. No one talking to me for seriously like 2 years. I'm just like, hey,
right, who's the fuck?
Yeah, this fucking guy,
No, I remember when I first met you, Bill Burr introduced us.
Yeah, right.
I was hanging with Bill when I went to L.A., and he goes, come to the Comedy Store, and I'm doing a set. And then you were standing there. He goes, hey, Jim, you got to meet this guy.
Yeah.
You'll fucking love him. He loves AC/DC and Bon Scott. I go, really? And then we just started talking, and we hit it off.
I know.
That was all it was.
That's the best thing I got from comedy is all these great friends.
Yeah.
Because that's 44. My people... They had kids. They're long. My friends are long gone.
Yeah,
they're like,
course.
dude, I got to go to soccer practice. Then I meet all these people, and I'm like, this is great. You know? So it's fucking rich with new friends, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So would you move anywhere?
I got away from him to get out of high school, so he just that's another 6 years. Maybe if I did, I'd probably Florida.
Yeah.
Florida or Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. Oh, shit, yeah.
There's so many rock stars live there. A bunch of my friends there live there now. So one or the other. I don't think I go to L.A. Probably not.
Well, it's too much money.
And I never really liked it to begin with.
Right.
It's tough to make friends there.
Yeah.
So, but I would either go Florida or Vegas.
Yeah, well, Vegas, Vegas got expensive all of a sudden in the last year because everybody fucking moved out there, which is weird. But at least I think they don't have state tax or something.
No, there's no state tax in Florida or Nevada. Yeah,
right. So, it's funny. People are like, you got to watch out for the fucking state taxes. If I had enough money to worry about that, then I would worry about it. Man, if I had Rogan money, I get it. I'd just live. You wouldn't even see me if I had Rogan money. I would just be on the road or out fucking enjoying life in mountains and shit,
There was this guy, this baseball player, Bryce Harper. So he's a free agent. He was, biggest free agent on the market. This was like 2 years ago. So the Giants, San Francisco Giants, offered him 10 years, $400 million for a contract.
Right.
He went back to the Phillies in Philadelphia. We'll give you 10 years, 400 million too.
Yeah.
So then he wanted to go to San Francisco, and his agent goes, listen, he needs 450 million because he's going to have to pay 50 million more on that 400 million living in California compared to Pennsylvania.
Wow.
So if you can come up with 10 years, 450, we'll go to San Francisco. I go, we can. So he went to Philly. But that's how much more, like when you get to that level, like the Rogan level, whatever.
Right.
That's not even, but he needed another 50 million just to cover his ass with the taxes.
I think I still would have taken the 50 minus 50 to San Fran.
I know, to San Fran and Philly, yeah, because they love you there. That's one great thing about that city. I'm a big fan of the baseball team.
Yeah.
You come there, they love you. They're baseball fans.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds went there years ago, and he was the most hated. As soon as he came, I hated him. And when he came there, I go, all right, he's on my team. I love him.
Yeah.
And you'll be a Giant for life. So
I never understood the Barry Bonds hate. You know, I did. Because that's. I love the Giants, and I watched them pretty much every game ever with Bonds, growing up, Candlestick all the way up. But
Willie McCovey was my guy.
yeah, fucking, I loved all of them. You know, fucking Will Clark,
Jack Clark.
Yeah, Jack Clark.
I fucking love Jack Clark. Yeah.
But the Bonds thing, I think it was just because, he hated the press and they'd push his buttons, and then all of a sudden then everybody hated him. Oh, he's a dick.
Yeah, he was a dick to the press. But, Bobby, his dad, Bobby Bonds, that played for the Giants, told me, he said, be careful of the press.
Right.
Because they were the first ones, like in the 70s, Bobby Bonds had a drinking problem.
Yeah.
And they called him out. The press would never do that.
Right.
The press would hang out in the strip clubs with like Mickey Mantle and pick up strippers and hookers.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm not going to say anything. It's locker room.
Yeah.
And then Bobby got called out for being an alcoholic. The Giants kicked him off the team at some point or something like that. I know. And Bobby always said, just be careful of the press. So Barry always went in there with that attitude. So they all hated him.
Yeah.
So they immediately, portrayed him as a dick, which he kind of was. He was standoffish and stuff. But he was a superstar. It's like, okay, you're going to be treated different. But I loved him. He was great.
I love him.
And they still love him to this day in San Francisco. He could do no wrong.
Oh, yeah. And also, for them to, the entire world to throw the entire steroids thing onto one guy or two or three, him, Clemens, and another guy.
Yeah, Sammy
it's
Sosa.
Like, hey, man, the entire league, except for Cal Ripken and maybe Jeff Kent, were the only two dudes that weren't doing roids.
I know.
That's it. The entire league. And a matter of fact, at one point, the entire Dodgers had all been caught with steroids. The entire team.
And they were, because it wasn't illegal to do steroids. Steroids weren't illegal.
Exactly.
So, technically they weren't. They let them do it.
Yeah.
So.
And also, after the strike, that fucking dick, the commissioner, he was down with the roids because it was the home run shit.
McGuire and Sosa.
All the Smash Brothers and all that. So he was like, holy shit, it's putting butts in the seats because baseball was dead as fuck.
Right, because they missed the World Series that year, the strike half the season, and all that stuff.
And it was just empty.
People were pissed, I know.
Yeah,
so then McGuire and Sosa went on that home run chase that year and brought everybody back.
Right, man. And also, let's be honest, it was the most entertaining baseball of all time.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. So let them take the roids or whatever they got to do,
care.
Yeah. Bonds is interesting now. You seen him? He's like, he bicycles every day or whatever. So he's like, his body's completely different. He's like skinny.
Yeah.
And like all like lean from riding a bike every day.
A lot of sports guys will do that once they retire. I don't need this much muscle or this much weight on me.
Right.
So they go on a completely different plan.
Yeah.
So
I love that ballpark too. It's best.
Phenomenal.
It's the best.
You know, it's so funny, man. I used to watch it on TV every night, like the Giants.
Yeah.
And it would be like June or July. It's a 7:00 game, and I see everybody with hoodies on and gloves. I'm like, what a bunch of pussies, San Francisco. They can't take it. I go out there for a series, and I'm like, it's June. I'm walking to the stadium. I'm like, I have my T-shirt. I'm like, oh, I see these pussies. Like, I wear, drinking hot chocolate. By the time I got to the stadium, a half hour later, I'm like, I'm trying to buy a jacket. There's an Old Navy. I go, I got to get a jacket. I'm freezing my ass off. I'm getting hot chocolate. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, it sucks.
You have no clue until you're out there with that wind off the bay right there.
Just and you're like, oh,
people, I want to see them bundled up. Like, what a bunch of babies. It's July. Because meanwhile, L.A., it gets down to maybe 60 at night.
Yeah. Shorts always at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fuck, man. So good to see you. It's been way too long, and I hope maybe we'll do some shows here in the next 6 months or so together.
Yeah, definitely.
Do something, and congrats on this. Now, what is the record called?
It's called Terrorizing Telemarketers, Volume 7.
And it's on iTunes and all the streaming platforms.
Yep, all the
now.
streaming platforms that came out today. Don Jameson's on it with me. We've been doing them for years. It's just us messing with telemarketers.
And then you have a Patreon. Give them that.
The Patreon is patreon.com/Jim Florentine. My podcast is called Everybody is Awful. Free one comes out every Monday, and I do 3 other ones. I do a show on Ozzy's Boneyard on Sirius XM every Thursday.
Yeah.
It's more just it's not so much a talk show. I play music and talk in between. I feature a bunch of different albums each week.
I always know when you're on because it's like, some deep, it's like Thin Lizzy, but it's not Boys Are Back in Town.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm
I'm going to play Renegade.
I know my favorite.
Yeah, fucking
so I'm always
unbelievable.
like, I already know. I don't even need it because it'll say Jim Florentine on the description on my phone. But I already know because I'm like, I already know who's on right now.
Who else is playing Rose Tattoo Scarred for Life?
Yeah. It's funny because then I'm like, what are you listening to? Anything new?
Nothing. I like this band Bloodywood, the Indian folk metal.
I don't know. Bloodywood?
Bloodywood, they're called. Yeah, it's
wow.
a cross between like Slipknot with some Korn and Linkin Park.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that's pretty good. They're from India, but nothing's really grabbed me yet.
Yeah.
Nothing recent is really doing it for me. I still go back to the old school.
Yeah.
But I do like Pretty Reckless. I'm a huge fan of, and Hailstorm. I just saw that tour. They were phenomenal. Taylor Momsen is a fucking rock star.
Right.
So was Lizzie Hale. They're fucking great. But nothing crazy. I've been just going back to the old school stuff.
Yeah.
Remember that band Killer out of Belgium?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was just listening to them the other day. Ready for Hell and Wall of Sound. Yeah.
Wow.
They were like a poor man's Motorhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just listening to that. I always go back to some old school AC/DC.
I've been heavy Accept.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I've been heavily on Accept lately. A little bit of Metal Heart here and there.
Yeah, Metal Heart's good. But Breaker is a great Accept record,
of course,
too.
yeah.
My favorite singers in metal and rock, heavy metal, is Udo, voice.
Yeah.
Udo, voice, and hard rock, Bon Scott. I'll never veer from those two guys. I love fucking Udo's voice, and Bon was
now. He still sounds killer.
So unbelievable,
dude. I saw him and I was like, I saw him at the Whiskey. He played all
the Accept songs,
yeah, and I was like, this guy's fucking amazing.
Yep.
Is that like his son on drums or something?
His son's on drums, a monster.
Oh my god, yeah. As soon as I saw his son on drums, I was like, oh, he's not gay. Weird. I thought Udo was gay.
I know. We always thought that. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, London Leather Boys, all the lyrics and everything.
Well, supposedly, what's his face? Wolf Hoffman's wife wrote the lyrics.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. Wolf Hoffman's wife, Deffy, or whatever it was called. If you look at their credit, and she wrote all the lyrics.
Wow.
A lot of it, because they couldn't translate at that time that much, so she would just write the stuff.
Wow. And Peter Bolt's, I guess, is playing in Udo's band now again.
There's always fighting going on between them, too. It's like, I know. It's like divorced parents. Udo keeps going out, playing the Accept. I'll show you how it's really done.
Yeah, then he says, I'm never doing it again.
I'm never doing it again. No more Accept songs. But, they want it again. Let me go back to America. I've seen the tour twice already. He's just trying to stick it to the Accept out now. Because they do some stuff. Let me show you. Yeah, so it's just childish.
Yeah. I'm fired up for the Merciful Fate tour. This is going to be fucking great. Have you ever seen him? I've seen him twice.
I saw him once back in the day,
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's voice comes close to that guy, man. It's so scary and haunting and rad.
Yeah.
I'm on this Marcus King tour, and I was playing it for the opening band is Neil Francis. He's fantastic also. And I was like, you got to check this guy out. So I'm playing. He's like, God, that shit is wild.
Really?
Because he had
never heard it. Yeah, right. So if you've never heard it before, you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I was playing him like fucking The Dangerous Meeting, Tonight the circles meeting.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, fucking great to see you. And have a great weekend. You got road dates coming up?
I'm in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Kenosha Comedy Club, September 30th, October 1st, and then Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, October 6th through the 8th.
And you got no booking agent right now, right?
No.
And are you doing it yourself?
I'm doing it myself. I'm doing everything myself.
Yeah, that's like me, man. It's
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll get one at some point, but I'm just kind of like, I'm just
Right.
cutting it. Whatever people, if they give me shit, causing me stress in my life, they're gone.
Yeah.
I'm at that point.
Yeah.
I got enough contacts. I always tell people, as long as you're not a dick in this business,
Right.
people will still respect you. I'm emailing these bookers. They get right back to me, and I'm like, oh, shit, because I was never a dick when I went in there or
Right.
anything like that. And they'll always say, all right, we'll work you with the money and all that shit. So,
yeah.
so yeah, this I've just been doing it on my own, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing the show. And great to see you, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You too, Dina.
What are you doing? You want to get lunch?
Yeah, let's go get lunch.
All
I
right.
don't have shows till later tonight, so I'm
Okay,
calling time.
great. Yeah, we'll go get lunch. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, to another episode of Let There Be Talk. All my tour dates are at DeanDelRay.com. Also, my Patreon is DeanDelRay. It's patreon.com/DeanDelRay. And you can catch me out on this Marcus King tour right now, all over America, 34 dates. And then I'm headlining out at Soul Joel's in, where is that, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it's about a half hour outside of Philly.
Okay, yeah. So tour dates, DeanDelRay.com. Also merch at all the shows. See ya. Candles are lit.